time. Okay, so section C, subsection C. It says cutting the decorative figure of on the cake. Okay. As explained previously, destroying the letters of the picture, even for no beneficial reason, is prohibited rabbinically. Biblically, only for productive, right, for constructive purpose, but rabbinically, even to destroy. Okay. Thus, if cake is decorated with a frosting in the forms of the words, letters, or any distinct object, it is forbidden to cut cake in a way that deforms the letter or ruin the picture. Right? So meaning that the only way is to cut between the letters. Between the letters, no problem, because the letter is intact. So the famous question, yeah, but when you eat, you're going to cut. Yeah, that's not a problem. That's not a problem because a normal way of eating, right? So it's not normal way of destroying things, right? When you eat. Okay. So, thus, if a cake is decorated with a frosting in the form of words, letters, or any distinct object, it is forbidden to cut the cake in a way that deforms letter or ruins the picture. So very, very careful. As we said, meaningful picture, if it's a wavy line or something, right, it's not counted. But if they have like flowers, that would be a big issue. For example, a cake has a happy birthday written on it. It is forbidden to cut through the letters. So between the letters, yes. Through the letters, not. It is also forbidden to peel the letters off the cake. So that's a different issue, right? As we said, it's like this letter is on a surface. So when it was included with a surface, it's a problem. So if you want to cut if you want this letter, just cut with a little sliver of cream or something. That's with a surface. There is no problem because you separate. You did not separate letters. You just cut piece of cake. Okay. So the following are, however, permitted. Number one, it is permitted to cut between the letters. So as we said, clear, okay, between the letters, no problem. Number two, if the letter were cut before Shabbos, but the piece of cake were left in place, it is permitted to separate pieces on Shabbos. So I mean that's also practical solution, but only if you organized person and you're not going to forget to do that. Meaning they cut the letters, cut the cake, even with happy birthday, before Shabbos, right? Completely cut, and then put the pieces back together. So it looks like complete, but it's not. It was cut before. So in this case, when you separate this, what is it? When you separate the piece of cake, the pre-cut piece, there is no problem. Even though it looks like the letters are cut like in the middle, there is no problem because it was done before. So number three, it is permitted to bite into a piece of cake that has a complete letter on it, even though the letter will thereby be destroyed. Only cutting prior to eating is prohibited. So meaning, let's say we have these letters, we have this piece of cake in our plate. So and let's say you using fork in order to eat this cake, right? So you have to be careful. So just because it was allowed you to separate from the cake and now it's in your plate, still you're not allowed to cut, and right. So you have to be careful how you eat it. Like in your mouth, that's a different story. It is allowed. It is not considered to be destroying. I mean, it is destroying, but not halakhically considered to be destroying. Right. So, but before eating, it's forbidden to cut, be it on a cake itself, like in a big cake, or in your plate. Okay, so number four, it is permitted to cut the decorations that are not of meaningful shapes, like a straight or curved lines, right? So flowers or some other things, of course, would not be allowed by Curved lines, straight lines, no problem. So number 5, it is permitted to cut figures that are baked into the fiber of the cake itself, and it is permitted to cut cake or a cookie that has meaningful shapes. For example, gingerbread man, animal crackers. It is forbidden only to cut letters or figures of another substance attached to a cake. Okay, so let's do this piece because it's a very interesting. A few very interesting examples. Okay, again, it is permitted to cut figures that are baked into the fiber of the cake itself. So now it's not these letters that were added to the base, right? Like how do you make this cake, right? Like a cream cake, right? Like a thing with a frosting on top. So first you bake the things, right? And then you add this cream, like in between jelly or whatever you add, right? So meaning these letters were added after that. But if you bake, how would you bake? If you have this, what is it called? This form like mold, right? If you have a mold, right, and there will be some flowers on top, like there are different molds. So in this case, there is no problem. You can cut through the flour because it's not only flour, but you cut a much bigger piece. Okay. So again, there was the difference that they were mold. How is it called? How does he call it? It is permitted to cut the figure or cake into the fiber. It is permitted to cut figure that are baked into the fiber of the cake. So meaning it is itself or cookie itself, or you have cookie with some shapes. So this cookie you can break. There is no problem. And it is permitted to cut cake or a chocolate cake or a cookie, cut or break, right, that has meaningful shape. Gingerbread man. I'm not sure why somebody would want to eat man. I'm not sure. And plus animal crackers. I saw somewhere, I don't remember where, but I saw this crackers. Oh, it says they're kosher. I mean, there's no problem. It's just cookies. Did I see it in the store? I don't remember. Maybe it's somebody's house. But basically, there are different animals, and many of these animals not kosher, right? So, is it proper to eat these animal crackers? I don't think so. Just because it's kosher, better to stay away. So, is it a pig there? Maybe it isn't even a pig there. Of course, it's only mizoines, but don't right. So don't do it. Basically, even though it's kosher, it is kosher, right? It is forbidden only to cut letters or figures of another substance attached to the cake. Okay, so but if it's the same substance, it was molded like that, there is no problem. Okay, so number 6, it is permitted to remove leather along with a thin sliver of cake or frosting on which it rests. So now you do not remove leather, you remove piece of cake. So I mean leather in a piece of cake or frosting. So in this case, there is no problem. So let's see the first question from today. Is it permitted to cut between the curved letters written on a cake? Cursive, I'm sorry, cursive letters. Okay, sorry. Written on a cake, since these lines are connect them forwards to that. There is no problem. I mean, all of these like signs on a cake, I think they're in cursive. It's not in print. Right, so yeah, between them to cut there is no problem. So next one. What about someone's birthday cake that is covered with sprinkles, but there are slightly distinguished sprinkles with their birthday age? I'm not sure. A cake like this covered with sprinkles, but also numbers on the sprinkles. Numbers on the sprinkles. I mean, I'm not an expert in sprinkles. I mean, but if there is a number on the sprinkles, so that would be a problem. I mean, when you have a happy birthday sign, you just cut between the letters. But if sprinkles, I mean, I cannot see from here, but I mean, for me, it looks like regular sprinkles. I don't know. Okay, but if the like digits, I don't know, somebody's 5 years old and you have fives there, would be a big issue, right? Would not be allowed to cut because you might damage some numbers. Okay, so next one is it says somebody's birthday. So 40 years old. So it would be a problem. I mean, if so, they basically on the picture they have two half of the cake. So like somebody's 40 years old, right? Huge four. So it's cake itself. The way I see, I mean, I imagine like a huge, maybe a few pounds, one letter and a few pounds zero as well. So you're not allowed to cut this. Absolutely not. Right? That's for other people, not for us. What is the name? Anna. Okay. Next one. So yeah. So these cakes, the cake that consists of two letters, is not allowed. What about the birthday cake? So we have a birthday picture of the birthday cake, and with the sprinkles, they molded, not molded, like created the number 2. So this number 2, you're not allowed to cut, but around you can cut. And if you want to give a child, let's say, child is not a good idea, to somebody this number 2, so you have to cut with the cream, put it with the cream, and let person, I'm not sure how they're going to eat it. I would say don't eat it because unless it is tiny and you can put in your fork all of it and bite from it, yes, there is a way. But if it's like huge, like a letter, like a digit, and you have to cut with a spoon, with a fork a little, so it's not allowed. It would be 100% destroying. Okay, I know what happened. Okay, so I mean it's not opening like more. Okay, so we got the idea. So continue 1 second. Next question. Could I have a question about erasing? Okay, if one is in very hot weather, in very hot weather, okay, which chocolate would start to soften and melt right out of the fridge. Is the melting the entire chocolate plate considered erasing? Okay, so again the question: if one is very hot weather, which chocolate would start to soften and melt right out of the fridge? Is it melting of entire chocolate plate considered erasing? So chocolate, I guess chocolate meaning chocolate letter or something. There is no problem if we just put it on the counter or on our table and we don't do anything and it starts melting by itself. There is no problem whatsoever. There is no problem whatsoever because it's grammar. It's like you did not do anything. Yes, a person might say, yeah, you take out from the refrigerator. No, there is no problem. No problem. Right. And that's actually right. For example, you have a chicken, right, and since on Shabbos, right. So you can take it from refrigerator and it has jelly right around, of course. Of course, you're not allowed to warm up, according to Ashkenazi custom, but you're allowed to leave it there, and it's going to warm up in a room temperature. There is no problem. The jelly is going to melt, yes, but of course you're not allowed to place it next to the stove or some object with heat, for example, like a radiator or something. It would not be allowed. But just to leave it on the countertop, there is no problem. So because it is indirect. Okay, very good question. So next question, just to make sure I understand correctly, if the numbers themselves are cake and the white background is container, okay, are we allowed to cut through the cake? Given the shape of the baker's, the cake is not considered erasing. Oh, so it's container. Okay. So you see, okay. So if right, so that's that's correct in this case. So if there are two separate letters, like the digits here, they're cakes themselves. Yeah, we said if it was baked like that. If it was, I guess most likely it was baked like that. So in this case there is no problem. Sorry for confusion here. In this case, no problem. Somehow, somehow it's, but I said it because those are attached, right? I think it says "Happy Birthday, Anna" or something. I think so. It would be that it is. It is like attached to the background. But let's answer two questions. But if they're absolutely separate without like anything on the bottom, there is no problem. So meaning on the bottom it's not edible. So maybe like I'm just maybe speculating, right? So if there is like a tray, like metal tray or something, and there is a piece of paper and it says "Happy Birthday, Anna," and these two digits 4 and 0, there is no problem there, right? Because it's not attached, right? But if it was like a cake underneath, that would be a problem. So meaning no problem. I apologize. What no problem means that you can cut these cakes, right, to two separate digits because they were baked like that. Yes.